And off we go on a Saturday night. Hello, everybody. Thank you for checking in. We'll start things off in Bardstown on our SkyTrack camera on this Saturday evening. A much quieter picture than it was about 12 to 15 hours ago. Hey, everybody. Carson Meredith with you here on this Saturday night. Hope you're having a good evening wherever you're watching us here on Wave Weather Now. If you have any questions, feel free to send them in the comments. Got them all right here. It has been a busy day in the Wave Weather Center. We started things off with a pretty loud line of storms that rolled through. And we're going to talk more about what happened this morning as far as what happened with the warnings, what happened with the damage, and how all that played out. But this is really just the beginning of what's going to be a long stretch of active weather, really over the next 2 to 3 days. We got another round of rain moving in tonight. We got more rain moving in as we get towards Monday afternoon. And then there's the chance for a little bit of wintry mischief as we get towards Monday night. Now, I'm not going to do a full-fledged snow talk like Brian Good would, because I can't do it as good as he does. But we'll still dive deep into the latest details as to what we're seeing with the trends and the latest model guidance that we've seen so far tonight. Before we dive deeper into it, let's see who's watching us. Michael says, hello, first time I've seen you on here. It's because it is my first time on Wave Weather Now. Thanks for watching, Michael. Appreciate it. Brandon says he lives in Henry County in Bethlehem and had some gusty winds and heavy rain. Yeah, northern Henry County definitely got the worst of that earlier this morning out near Port Royal, that is. In case you missed it during our 6 o'clock newscast, we did get word from the Weather Service. There was a tornado in Port Royal earlier this morning. Through a couple more comments here and we'll get started. Adam says hello from Bloomington. Looking forward to seeing some snow. We do have our first snowfall forecast for Monday night. I'm going to show you that here in just a few minutes. But let's talk about what the heck happened this morning. There was a chance for a few stronger storms. We talked about it all week. We were tracking it for you through the night. Kevin Harden was here until 2 o'clock in the morning when I came in, just making sure these storms were behaving. And really, for the most part, they were behaving until they got into your neck of the woods. So what you're looking at now is not live. We're looking back at the round of storms that was rolling through around 4 o'clock this morning. And obviously your attention turns right to that big pocket of heavy storms in Orange and Washington County. At that point, around 4 o'clock in the morning, it wasn't severe. But as the hours progressed, as we got towards 4:15, 4:30, what we had happen was just a little bit of a kink in that line developed. Well, we started off with a bow, and typically when you get a bow within a line of storms like this, that's where you have straight line wind potential. And that's exactly what happened just east of Salem around, let's say, just after 4:30 this morning. The Weather Service confirmed 80-mile-per-hour wind gust in eastern Washington County, Indiana. Note that little white line you see there on the screen. That was the main cell, or at least the main part of that line that caused all the damage into Clark County and then into Henry County as well. So let's keep going here. This was about 10 minutes later after that 80-mile-per-hour wind gust happened east of Salem, where we had that EF1 tornado touch down near Underwood there in far, far northern Clark County. We're talking even north of Henryville. This storm basically rode right along that Clark and Scott County line, let's say for a good 15, 20 minutes. and it did drop an EF1 tornado. If you look closely, you can see some of those wind damage reports right along I-65. There was actually an overturned semi on 65 close to that rest area there on mile marker 23, something like that. So as this storm kept pushing east, the tornado threat was still there. But here's the thing, as many of you know, we never had a tornado warning. So here's what happens in these situations. I know a lot of people still get confused by this. So in some severe thunderstorm warnings, not all of them, but some of them, if you got a little bit of rotation within that severe thunderstorm, but you're not necessarily, or the National Weather Service isn't ready to go full-fledged tornado warning, okay? They got something in the middle called a tornado possible tag. So what that means is that you got a big severe thunderstorm warning, all the text with that warning, and then right at the bottom, it says, hey, there's a tornado possible with this storm. And that's what we had around 4:30 this morning. There was never a tornado warning. Hopefully some of you were woken up by a NOAA Weather Radio or a Wave Weather app. You got that severe thunderstorm warning and were able to take shelter. But this was one of those odd situations where we never actually had a tornado warning, but a couple of tornadoes touched down. And you could kind of see where this little cell kind of broke apart from the rest of the line, almost like a miniature supercell. Another fancy phrase would be a bookend vortex. He kind of bookends that line of storms. That's where we had that rotation, and it was persistent. It wasn't necessarily strong during its whole life, but it just had those little blips where it would strengthen here and there, here and there. That's where a tornado would drop. So we had that one tornado near Underwood in Clark County, kept pushing east, did that line of storms, did that cell, and it did indeed drop another tornado, an EF1 in northern Henry County near Port Royal, where we had a good bit of damage earlier this morning. This was closer to 5:15, 5:30, and this particular point, there was never any kind of warning at all. There may have been one to the west. Let me take that back. There was one to the west, but once it got into Henry County, it re-intensified and dropped another tornado. Let's check the comments and see what everybody's talking about. Everybody wants to know about the snow. I'm getting there, I promise. Let's see here. Yeah, from Weston, Louisville, nice to see a new family member in the news. Yeah, thanks for that, Inga. It's good to be here at Wave. From Louisville, in case you've never seen me on TV, I'll be taking the weekends, morning and night, just like Jessica Dobson, my predecessor, did. And it's just good to be home. It's good to be home, and hopefully I'm sticking around here for quite some time. Let's see. Adam says he was sleeping soundly, didn't hear anything. Adam, you're a heavy sleeper, my friend. It was a loud line of storms that rolled through. Even here at the station, we had some gusty winds around 30 to 40 miles per hour. It was still rocking and rolling around. That is for sure. Let's see. Ashley says you put me at ease this morning. Well, good. That's our job here at Wave, is to keep you safe, keep you informed, but not to panic you. That's our number one job. LA's watching. We're engineers here at Wave. What's up, LA? Good to see you, man. So yeah, it was a busy start to our Saturday, that's for sure. But for most of us, we just saw a bunch of heavy rain. Had a nice break through the afternoon. Most of us still dry right now, but the big storyline as we go through the evening, rain's coming back. Not for all of us, though. We could still see a few showers as we go through this evening and overnight tonight, but the better rain chances will be for the Bluegrass State, especially if you live south of the parkways. And we're going to walk you through our future cast here in just a second. Let me take you downtown, shall we, on the SkyTrack? Nice view of the Derby City. I know the U of L game was going on. Did anybody know if they won? Just curious. I'm a UK fan, so it's not been a good stretch lately. Anyway, Yum Center's all lit up. So is the skyline on this Saturday night. We're dry here in the metro, and it looks as though we'll stay dry for a few more hours, at least here in the city. But we do have some rain starting to move in our southern counties, and you can see that from our Mesonet camera in Adair County. This is near Columbia, not necessarily close to Columbia, but it's nearby. Our friends at the Kentucky Mesonet down at Western do a great job with these cameras and these sites, these Mesonet sites. And we got a little bit of rain coming down in Adair County. Temperature, by the way, in the mid-50s for pretty much all of us. And with these rain showers moving in, we're not going to see those temperatures fluctuate a whole lot, maybe into the mid-40s tomorrow morning, but that's about it. So that rain continues to come down. There's the wide view of Wave Country. Here in Louisville, we're just fine. No issues in southern Indiana. In fact, if you're up near let's say Paoli, Salem, Scottsburg, Seymour, North Vernon, you may not see a drop of rain tonight. Now, we'll keep the chance for a few showers in southern Indiana, but the highest rain chances will be to our south, where you see that rain coming down now across Adair County, like we just showed you. Greene, Taylor, Marion, Washington County, starting to see some of that lighter rain. Even out towards Sonora and Upton and Hardin County, that light rain just starting to sneak in. It's kind of a interesting setup across the southeast. What we've got going on is a front is basically parked itself down to the south of us, down across Mississippi, Alabama. They've got a chance for a few stronger storms overnight tonight, early Sunday morning, that is. Any friends from Huntsville that are watching me here this evening, keep that in mind. Could be a loud evening down there. We're not worried about severe thunderstorms. We're not worried about any kind of thunderstorms for that matter overnight tonight here at home. It's just plain old rain. But until this stalled front finally gets a move on, we're going to have these on again, off again rain chances. The next wave moves in tonight. Then it'll start to scoot on out of here. And then we got, of course, that next system to watch as we get towards Monday. I got some Male high school alums, class of 2015. Hey, Caitlin, how you doing? It's been a long time since I've seen some of my Male high school friends. Let's see, Tara's in Campbellsburg. The wind had the trees bent over. I bet it did. Tara, glad you and the family are safe. Let's see. Adam again saying, I was too far north to get the big storms. Yeah, it was an interesting setup earlier this morning. That is for sure. Let's go ahead and talk about what we can expect for the rest of tonight. Here's our future cast. And you notice that really, really narrow line of where the rain is falling and where there is nothing. And the models have been going back and forth as far as where that line is going to end up, really, for the last couple of days. When we were on the air during our sunrise show this morning, it looked like it does now, where most of the rain cuts off right along the Ohio River, where most of southern Indiana stays dry. Earlier this afternoon, some models were keeping most of the rain way down to our south, down in Greene, Taylor, Adair County, really closer to Bowling Green. So as we go through the overnight hours, we'll keep that higher chance in Kentucky, of course, like we talked about. But by 6, 7 o'clock tomorrow in the morning, most of the rain's done. So if you're heading out early for church or any other Sunday plans, maybe Sunday brunch, maybe grab the umbrella just in case there's a random shower still out there. But odds are you're going to be dry once we get past sunrise on Sunday morning. Something we will keep an eye on tomorrow. It's not a big deal, but the temperatures could be a little interesting. Now, our current forecast keeps our highs in the low to mid 50s, but this particular forecast model I'm showing you is called the HRRR, the High Resolution Rapid Refresh Model. Say that 10 times fast. It's keeping our highs in the 40s all day. I'm not totally sold on that. And part of the reason why is this model is showing more cloud cover all day tomorrow. I'm optimistic, not a guarantee, but I'm optimistic we'll see some peaks of sunshine throughout your Sunday. Not everybody, but a few lucky spots will. And that could be just enough to push those high temperatures into the low 50s. It's still going to be a cooler day. You still need a coat if you're out and about tomorrow. If you got some errands to run before the big game tomorrow night, make sure you have that heavier coat. And again, maybe have an umbrella just in case you fall under a random shower. But I will say any lingering showers tomorrow will stay across central and southern Kentucky, let's say from E-Town point south. And you notice we go through Sunday night and Monday morning, it's all quiet. Monday morning is looking a lot drier, which is good. Obviously, Monday after the Super Bowl, everybody's going to be tired. But the Monday morning drive, we were concerned about some rain moving in early. That no longer looks to be the case. However, we get towards Monday afternoon, here we go. That's when the rain starts to move in. And this is all thanks to another system that's going to scoot its way through wave country from the south and west. And it's this Monday system in particular that has our attention for that rain eventually transitioning to snow. I'll let you look at that 3-day forecast while I look through some of the comments here. Let's see what we got. Cheryl's asking if there's any concern traveling tomorrow afternoon from Louisville. Not. Roads are going to be wet, but as far as winter weather, should be just fine. That concern does not hold off until we get to, or it holds off, I should say, until we get towards Monday night. But tomorrow evening, Cheryl, some roads could still be a little damp. Nothing to worry about. Just take it easy. You'll be just fine. Lisa says, welcome to Wave Weather. Thank you for the kind words. Really appreciate it. It is good to be home. A lot of folks in the family very happy that I'm back in Louisville. That's for sure. I've been away for 8 or 9 years now, just getting settled in. I got to go back to Alabama this week to get the furniture. So that'll be fun. But it's good to be home. Excited to be here and stick around for a little while. So that's the 3-day forecast. Highs in the upper 40s to start the day on Monday. And then you see those overnight lows are back to near freezing or just below freezing Monday night. That's where that transition is going to come into play. This is the wide view Futurecast. We mentioned that low pressure. It's going to be to our south and west Monday morning, out near Memphis, Tupelo, Mississippi, close to my friends in Huntsville. Rain for them to the south tomorrow, or Monday morning, that is. Monday morning. Most of the rain's moving out tomorrow morning. Let's keep going. Monday afternoon, not bad. Still looking fairly dry. A few showers moving into our southern counties. But as the day goes on, those rain chances go up. And by the Monday evening drive, I do expect that rain to be pretty widespread. Is this going to be a heavy rain? Not necessarily. It's just that annoying rain that's going to lower your visibilities while you're on the roads. And it could cause some ponding as well. So Monday evening, just rain, but you still need to take it slow as you're heading home from the office. Let's keep going. This is 7:30 Monday night. And the key that's going to decide any winter weather potential Monday night is going to be how cool these temperatures drop. And a lot of that will also depend on how heavy or how quickly the rain and eventually the snow is falling. What happens is you have a process called dynamic cooling. Ryan's talked about this a little bit on his Snow Talk blog, of course, but basically that means it's raining or snowing so quickly that it cools the atmosphere down at a faster rate. That in turn will allow for some accumulations potentially. So let's keep going. This is 7:30 Monday night, like we talked about, close to midnight. Let's say 9, 10 o'clock, potentially in southern Indiana, closer to midnight here in the metro. We're going to start to see that rain transition to snow. This does look like one of those scenarios where you go from rain to a mix and then snow. It could be a pretty quick transition. And again, it's all going to depend on how heavy that precipitation is falling. You notice those temperatures. They're mighty close to freezing. Now, there's one thing that is working in our favor Monday night, and that is the ground temperatures. You don't need me to tell you that it's been pretty warm in general for the last week. Had those highs in the 60s for a few days. That's a good thing because it keeps the ground warm. And initially, some of those snowflakes may melt on contact. Hopefully, it stays that way through Monday night. But as we go through the overnight hours, notice that snow is still lingering. Could it go back and forth between rain and snow? Yeah, especially here in the metro where we got that heat island effect. But in general, we're going to see some frozen precipitation, I expect, past 9 or 10 o'clock Monday night. The higher chance for any travel impacts is going to be along and north of the Ohio River, southern Indiana. Even here in the city, I can't rule out a couple of slick spots here and there. This again for Monday night and into Tuesday morning. Now, I'm going to dive deep into a lot of numbers here. Don't worry about a bunch of them. I'm going to show you which ones I want you to look at here. This is the European model. We call it the Euro. Same thing. Let's look at that snowfall forecast, okay? This just came in a few minutes ago, actually. Don't take these at face value. This is just kind of giving you an idea of what we could see Monday night. Euro suggesting maybe close to an inch of snow. But again, some of that could melt on contact. You also notice those temperatures, they drop pretty quickly. We go from around 50 degrees at 2:30 Monday afternoon all the way down to the upper 20s, low 30s by sunrise Tuesday morning. So there is a window where some of the snow could stick. Does that mean we're going to have an inch of snow stick on the ground? Not necessarily, because the ground is still warm. But again, if you get those heavy rates, those heavy snowfall rates, then you could have a little bit of an accumulation, especially here in the city. Here's another model, North American model. the NAM, as we like to call it. Same idea. We get towards Monday night, at least maybe around a half inch, 1 inch of snow that actually falls. But the big question is going to be how much of it does it stick? That's going to be the key. Notice those temperatures on the NAM here on the left side. They don't get quite as cold. 36 around 2 o'clock Tuesday morning, only touching freezing near sunrise Tuesday before we start to warm things up. And by the way, this isn't going to be like what we saw in January where it's Arctic cold and we're stuck in it for days and days and days and days. We're getting to near 50 degrees on Tuesday. So any snow that does fall, it's gone by lunchtime on Tuesday. But it's Tuesday morning that we're watching for that potential for maybe a few slick spots here and there. So here's our first look at a snowfall forecast. This is not going to be a huge snowstorm. Snow lovers, I'm sorry. It's not happening. Higher snow chances, southern Indiana. Better chance for accumulations, southern Indiana. But look, it's not much. All right, we're talking less than an inch right now. Here in Louisville, maybe out towards Corydon, Brandenburg, Ardensburg, E-Town, Bardstown, Shelbyville, maybe a dusting. Maybe you wake up Tuesday morning, there's a little snow on the rooftop of your car, maybe a little bit in the grass. That's it. The main issue that I'm worried about, like we mentioned, for Kentucky in particular, is those wet roads from all that rain that we see on Monday potentially freezing over. That's going to be the issue for the Tuesday morning drive. But again, this looks like just a light accumulation. It's going to be a wet snow, so once those temperatures do drop, it will stick for a little bit. But this is not a huge snowstorm. The higher totals will be up closer to Indianapolis and Columbus, Ohio. This, of course, could still change. We're going to keep looking at that data constantly over the next couple of days. But the best chance to see any accumulations will be in Indiana, for Kentucky, along the Ohio River, maybe down towards the parkways, just a dusting. That's it. Let's dive into the comments, shall we? Let's see. Nancy asking, any bad driving at 6 o'clock on Monday evening? Well, Nancy, we kind of mentioned it. We're going to be seeing a lot of rain for the Monday evening drive. It won't be until, it depends on where you are, but it won't be until past 9 or 10 o'clock when that wintry weather potential comes into play. Hopefully that helps answer your question. Brandon's heading to Pigeon Forge Thursday afternoon. That sounds nice right now. I'm not going to lie. How's the weather looking for the drive? Looks pretty good. I'll show you the 10-day earliest alert here in just a second. But once we get past this system Monday night, early Tuesday, looks like we got a few days in the middle part of next week where it's fairly quiet. Let's see. More travel questions. Jacob's traveling from Litchfield to Lexington Monday night and then back around 11 o'clock. How concerned? Jacob, I'm not too terribly worried about that stretch. I take it you're going to be driving the parkways. We really won't see any potential changeover until closer to midnight along the parkways between Litchfield and Lexington. So the roads are going to be wet and it will be cooling down quickly. But as far as winter weather, you look okay right now, but stay close. Of course, that timing can still change. Let's see. Lisa says, folks here in Louisville have some difficulty driving with a few flakes. Yeah. Even without a few flakes too, Lisa. It's a good point. So that's our current snowfall forecast. This will likely still change. Models go one way or the other. We'll make adjustments as needed. This is not going to be a huge deal. Main issue will just be a few slick spots late Monday night. We're talking way past midnight into early Tuesday. There's that 10-day earliest alert. Well, this is a morning 10-day earliest alert, but you get the idea. It's been a long day. Forgive me. Let's dive into Super Bowl Sunday. Not bad. Rain chances are gone for the most part by sunrise tomorrow. We'll see those highs in the low to mid 50s. Likely low 50s for most of us. But if you get a few breaks in the clouds, maybe 54, 55, I can't rule it out. Monday, we mentioned that mess. But as we look ahead towards Valentine's Day, making any plans? If you forgot, it's 4 days away. Not bad. Highs in the mid 50s. We were concerned about a quick little clipper kind of scooting through in that Wednesday time frame. And there's a chance that clipper could still move in on Thursday. But look at that trend, that temperature trend. 54 for Valentine's Day, 56 on Thursday. If we do see any precipitation with that system for now, it looks like it's just plain rain. But by the end of the 10-day, closer to President's Day, the initial suggestions or the initial indications, if you will, that looks a little more interesting. We got a lot to get through over the next couple of days, so I'll let Brian handle the details on that forecast. But it does look interesting about a week or so from now. Just keep that in mind. If you got any holiday plans or if you're traveling, maybe you got the long weekend for President's Day next weekend, stay close. Keep an eye on that about a week from now. So let's see if we got any questions here before we sign off and get ready for our 11 o'clock newscast here in a couple of hours. Looks like everybody's in good shape. So we are going to wrap this one up. Thanks for joining me on this Saturday evening. Hope you're having a good one. Hope everybody is safe after all those storms that rolled through last night and this morning. No severe weather expected anytime soon, but keep the umbrella handy with that rain coming in tonight and early tomorrow. And keep a close watch on that forecast for Monday as well. I'll be back on here tomorrow evening, maybe tomorrow morning. We'll keep giving you these updates while we're outside of our newscast as we keep a very, very close eye on that forecast for Monday. But until then, thank you so, so very much for watching. This is Carson Meredith signing off. Have a great evening, everybody.